pleasure to introduce John Edman. John Edman has more than 25 years of senior management, sales, and marketing experience in the hospitality industry. As Director of Explore Minnesota, John is responsible for the development and implementation of tourism plans, policies, programs to promote Minnesota as a travel and tourism destination. He's the state's chief spokesman for tourism-related issues. And he manages an agency with approximately 60 staff and an annual budget of $13.9 million. John has been named National State Tourism Director of the Year for 2015. Congratulations. The award is voted upon annually by the U.S. Travel Association's National Council of State Tourism Directors. So welcome, John.
Thank you. Hello. Can everyone hear me? All right. Yes, thank you Jim for that introduction and for that comment about State Travel Director of the Year. It was interesting. I was nominated for that a couple times prior to actually getting that award, and I wasn't sure what I felt about being nominated for that award again. I came home and I told my family, I told my 18-year-old daughter that I was nominated for this award, and I said, should I fill that out and send that in? And she said, well, Dad, you know, it's kind of nice that you were nominated, and it's a real honor, but you're sort of the Susan Lucci of state travel directors. But it's really nice to be nominated, Dad. Leave it to your kids to keep you nice and humble. It's a true story. All right, I'll try to be relatively quick here. I have a number of things that I want to go through. And I'm gonna dispense of any videos and commercials, assuming that maybe you've seen some of them, also to kind of keep this moving along. But I want to talk. You know, I love your theme about change, because I think that's really important in terms of how we are trying to reach consumers in Minnesota. And I want to talk a little bit about what we did with our spring-summer marketing, what we heard, what we've gotten from that in terms of results, what we heard from you in the industry. What we're doing in the fall and the winter, and then what we're doing in the future. And by the way, for those of you that were at that breakout this morning regarding Explore Minnesota Strategic Planning, thank you so much for being there, because we've had about a dozen of these sessions all throughout the state to try to figure out how to grow travel and tourism in Minnesota, to get assistance as we develop our strategic plan. And it was really nice to have a room full of resorters to kind of get the unique perspectives that all of you have in this industry. So thank you for those that participated in that. And I'll share with some of the lessons that we got from that so far. We did an overall campaign, which is based on the theme. I won't show that to you here. This was based on the theme of more to explore in Minnesota. I'll talk a little bit more about why we ended up with that theme. I mentioned this morning when I talked about our industry, that we're a $13 billion industry. There's a lot of numbers on this slide. Numbers that I've committed to memory in terms of the fact that we're 240,000 jobs every county in the state of Minnesota, 17% of all sales taxes in Minnesota. But I think the thing that's probably the most interesting to me is that our industry has really started to gain a lot of respect. Over the years, it seems that we are starting to be recognized in a lot of different circles, whether it's state circles, local circles. It seems like even this last summer, whether there was a storm in the Brainerd Lakes area, whether there was problems with fishing in Mille Lacs, whether there was the impact of events like the Ryder Cup or the Super Bowl and other events, what does this mean to travel and tourism? What does that mean to our industry? How is that going to impact not just those leisure and hospitality businesses, but those other businesses upon which tourism depends? And so I think that's a real positive in terms of awareness of our industry. Because as I mentioned, it impacts every single corner of the state, and it's everything from the entry-level jobs to the management jobs. And I'll just share a story that I shared this morning. We were talking about workforce challenges. My daughter is 18 years old, and she's working in a restaurant, and we were just having a conversation last night actually it was 2 days ago. She was really excited because she got a lot of tips that night. And I said, Margie, the experience that you're getting in this job is going to be an experience and skills that will last no matter what career you do. Whether you become an engineer, or whether you become an accountant, or whether you go in the hospitality industry. These are lifelong skills. And I think that's really an important aspect of leisure and hospitality jobs in Minnesota we don't really talk about enough. But it's jobs affecting every single corner of the state of Minnesota. Every season long, the spring-summer season, which is our big season, 37% of all travelers in those seasons. But spring, fall, and winter is important to our industry as well. And the other thing I want to mention is international is a real growth opportunity for Minnesota. And a lot of times we don't think about that. We don't think about the growth potential in terms of international travel and tourism. But we're rather blessed in this state in the sense that with the MSP airport and with the direct connections to countries all throughout the world, we have access to global travelers that other states would only wish they would have, whether it's the Dakotas or the Iowas or Alabamas or Wyomings. We have people, and this is a segment of our industry that's really growing in terms of the number of travelers that are coming to the state of Minnesota. Many of those travelers are actually, transferring on to somewhere else, but we have that opportunity to show people the things that are only in Minnesota. And also, I was recently appointed by the Secretary of Commerce to a group called Brand USA, and so it's rather humbling to be a part of that group because it's only about a 10-person board, and I sit on this board with the CEO of Marriott Corporation and Sabre and VP of Disney and Star Alliance, and then a little Minnesota Tourism Director. But the point is, it's kind of neat that all of a sudden, when they're talking global marketing of the United States, a program that has almost $200 million selling this country, they're always thinking about, well, what does it mean to Minnesota? And what are the opportunities in a smaller destination like ours? So there is some real opportunities here for us if we want to grow travel and tourism, to think about international growth and the opportunities that it entails. Now, ours campaign right now, which is basically built on the theme of only in Minnesota. When you explore Minnesota, you break free from the ordinary with a unique and authentic experience. Again, we were talking about that this morning. What do resorts offer? A very unique, authentic experience that can be found almost nowhere else in the country. And so this campaign with the hashtag #OnlyInMN has really taken off. It's not only tied to some of our traditional media, but our digital media and social media as well, where we've really seen it taken off, not just from a state perspective, but also from our tourism perspective, and from an economic development perspective. And it's not as important for me to come up with a great ad to say, here's the state of Minnesota, these are the things that we only have in the state. But when you talk to your friend, when you talk to your relative, or your customers talk to their friends, etc., that has so much more power to engage and motivate future travelers. We use a lot of different tactics, whether it's TV, digital, out of home, and print, to inspire and motivate travelers. And what I wanted to throw this slide up there because it shows that, yes, Minnesota and the surrounding states are our core markets. We are focused on the Nebraskas. We are focused on Minnesota and the Wisconsins and or North Dakotas and South Dakotas and Iowas. We're also able to get our message out to farther audiences than we've never been able to reach before, whether it is destinations like Denver and Colorado or Chicago or in Kansas City. And the way we do it, on this slide here, there's a lot of information on this slide. It kind of just shows you, and by the way, if you need a copy of these slides, I'll make sure that you can get this so you can look at this in a little more detail later. But this kind of shows our marketing as it is right now. I'm getting a lot of input during these listening sessions. Is this the right timing? Should we be adjusting it a little bit? But we're involved in everything from TV and digital and search engine all year long. This kind of represents a variety of tactics that we use for our spring summer marketing. And this is just showing it in a different way, showing it particularly how social ties into so much of what we do. We also did a program, I'll mention a little bit more in detail, a 10-day Minnesota campaign. We do some digital, sports marketing, a lot of paid social, PR. And the way to engage travelers is not as simple as it used to be. It's not just doing a travel guide and saying order the guide and doing a direct mail, and that's how you motivate people to travel in
So you really have to be involved in so many different avenues and channels